peaceful, serene, beautiful with the horses in the back. I got a stallion right here. This is first ever electric vehicle from Acura. This is the ZDX in the Type S trim. Coming in the mid $70,000 range before the EV tax credit, should you consider this precision crafted performance power wagon? Today we'll find out. If you remember 2010, Acura came out with the first ZDX. It only lived for about 4 model years and then was discontinued. It was a sport back lifted crossover thing, and it just was a little bit ahead of its time. Now everyone's doing coupe crossovers, right? This, my friends, is the second coming of the ZDX. It could have a short life as well, we'll find out, because this vehicle is actually built in Spring Hill, Tennessee, alongside of the Cadillac Lyriq. In just a few years' time, Acura will have, and Honda for that matter, their own e-architecture. But in the meantime, Acura knew they needed an electric vehicle to keep buyers from leaving the brand to Tesla or whoever else has an electric vehicle. So they teamed up with General Motors and they have come out with this cracking, and it is good. Wait for the driving impressions after this initial walk around. So they came out with this. They brought back the ZDX, and this is the most powerful Acura outside of the NSX ever made. And we're gonna look under the hood, then we'll break down the exterior and interior. Now, it is, this is the Type S. This is the full fat model, meaning 500 horsepower, 544 pound-feet of torque. Beautiful long hood. That's something you don't always see on electric vehicles. They can be a little bit stubby, like that. This is the first time looking under here. The engine cover, of course, there's no frunk. So hate to break or burst your bubble there, but pretty basic. I'm gonna shut this down. This model has 278 miles of range. The rear wheel drive A-Spec has about 312 miles of range, somewhere around there, maybe 313. And then the all-wheel drive A-Spec has 490 horsepower, almost as much as this, not quite as much torque, but that gets over 300 miles of range, just a little bit over. All right, we'll talk about charging here in a little bit, but I can't get past the front end here. It's very striking. Acura kept, even though it didn't need to, they kept the diamond pentagon grille, and they've even illuminated the bezel to it. I like this additional diamond plated texture. It's not just a design or a flat, it's actually 3D. So it has some movement in it. Big Acura logo for that radar cruise control, parking sensors here at the front. And then we have these daytime running lights, the chicane signature daytime running lights. If you look closely, you can see the Acura detail there. Quad beam jewel eye headlights. And that chicane daytime running light doubles as the turn indicator there. What do you guys think? Do you like that? I think it's really, really sharp, looks premium, and this vehicle better look premium and feel premium for the price point. As we come around to the side, the largest wheels ever on an Acura. These are 22s. This has the all-season tires, which are machine finish, but you can get the full-on Berlina black for an extra $1,000. So the whole wheel's blacked out. And that comes with the summer tires. Huge 6-piston Brembo brakes. I think, if I remember correctly, the rotors are over 15 inches large in the front here. The Type S, right? The Type S has the full horsepower. This is your charging. Let me pop that open. Over 11 kilowatts of AC level 2 charging. And then you have 190 kilowatts of DC fast charging. Now you can see this is not the new NAX port. I believe Acura will be able to provide you with that NAX port adapter in about a year or so. And then there's a really good chance 2025 model years, because this is 2024, 2025 model year, will have that NAX adapter standard, which is a North American charging standard, which Tesla adopts with the supercharging network. Everyone's going to it, but that's not what the scope of this video is about. 360 camera here on the Type S. And we also have the turn indicators here in the mirror. At night they might look a little bit different, but honestly I can't see any of the turn indicator really from the front. You can see it a lot better from the side. As we step back, this thing to me looks like a wagon. It is not SUV looking, and this, since it's a Type S, has the adaptive suspension as well as air ride suspension. So I can actually lower this, check this out. I can lower it with this button. It will lower the vehicle, and you can see it on this screen right here. As I press that button, it says normal ride height, lowered ride height, and then you have an entry exit ride height, which looks actually to be the same height, at least according to that graphic, as the lowered. So I'm gonna step back, shut the door. It just dropped it like it's hot there in the back. This is the fully lowered ZDX here. Now it can go, oh, there you go. It went even more. It went even more. I think it's done. There it is. Now it's fully lowered. This thing looks awesome. To me, this is a wagon, a sport wagon. We have a massive wheelbase. This wheelbase is over 120 inches long. It's 8 inches longer than the MDX wheelbase. But notice something. It's actually, I think, about an inch shorter than the MDX from front to back, even though from the height-wise, it's 4 inches shorter, if that makes sense. So the ZDX is about an inch shorter than the MDX, but the wheelbase is pushed out all the way to the edge here, and the overhangs are next to nothing. It is a beautiful design, and that's, I mean, if you want an EV that's going to stand out in this Tiger Eye Pearl, this is exclusive to the Type S. This paint color, as well as the double Apex Blue Pearl, which is also exclusive to the Type S. The rest of the colors you can get on the Type S, as well as the A-Spec. I mean, it definitely looks nothing like any other EV with that, I don't know, that silver portion at the bottom. It's not for everyone. Let me know if you guys like that silver portion or not. But the roof line feels super low here. As we come to the back, Type S badge. You would have an A-Spec badge back here if it was the base A-Spec model. And this is Honda's E badge. We've seen it in Europe before for their hybrids. So it's not just specific to Acura or Honda. It's all electrified Honda Acura products. Now, this rear windshield wiper would have been nice if it was tucked up under here, but it is what it is. From the back, it definitely has a lot of presence. I love the wide chicane style lights. What does the turn signal back here look like? It looks pretty good. Fully LED, it's super bright. I'm not gonna look at it. I have spots in my eyes right now. And let's go ahead and open this up. Tons of cargo space. I'll put it down below. The exact number is fleeting me right now. I want to say it's around 26 to 28, somewhere in there. I can also fold down the seats with the press of a button. And look how much space is in here. Guys, this is enormous. I could absolutely lay down in here. There's probably 6.5 to 7 feet of room from back here to the back of the front seats. Incredible. Now, there's not much underneath here. A little bit of underfloor storage, but honestly, not a lot. All right, so let's go ahead and close this down. Coming to the rear. So I love the blacked out roof rails as well. And a blacked out roof, right? It's only broken up by this little silver trimming here, but really, really cool. And this window back here is, you don't even realize this is glass. It's all, this whole piece is glass. Looks awesome. All right, the Type S here has sunshades. No longer do we have ELS audio on Acura models. They're all switching over to Bang & Olufsen. I'm not an audiophile. I think it sounds pretty good overall. Nice aluminum looking trim here. It's almost like a silver wood with this more shiny piece on top. The materials here are really, really nice. Like I mentioned, sunshades, stitching. This is the orchid color. You can get a red interior, you can get a black interior. This orchid is my favorite. I like the suede inserts here too. Really easy for child seats, and look how much legroom you had. You'd easily put a rear facing child seat in here, no problem. Stepping on the inside, we have pretty much a fully flat floor here. There's maybe an inch or so rise. We have 2 USB-Cs down here, a power outlet, heated outboard seats. In this Type S, we also have tri-zone climate control back here, which is pretty cool. And then a nice vents there. Speakers everywhere. I believe it's 18 speakers in the Bang & Olufsen. Tons of headroom. Lifting this up, I mean, these seats are gorgeous. Folding this down, and a nice cup holder. I love these indented ones because they don't let your drink rattle around, and it's yeah, anyways. Mat pockets on each side. It's like it's not exactly soft touch. Up here it is, right, with these Milano leather seats, but overall very, very comfortable back seat, lots of headroom, and you should be able to let's see here. No, that's as much as this seat reclines, okay? So just keep that in mind. Can't really adjust the reclining, which is a bummer because you have so much space back there. Here's the look of the interior, which you're gonna have a lot of during our drive. So let's go ahead in the front. The door slam sounds fine. I like how a smart key access on all 4 doors here. That is handy. The front door is definitely heavier. Feels more luxury. Soft touch materials up here at the top, memory seats, and I'm gonna shut the door with the Type S skid plate here at the bottom, but I don't want this beeping at me because I have the headlights on, or it's telling me that the car is on. So much to talk about in here. Digital rear view mirror, which is available, I think, only on the Type S. Nice soft touch materials at the dash, soft touch all the way back. One of the best head-up displays I've tested. I'll talk more about it on the drive. Massive screen here, which your maps can pull up onto. You press this button and give you different information. So this is more of your radar cruise control information, your energy usage, and this is customizable, by the way. You can put different metrics on there, but you have to go through this screen. I'm not gonna get into all the nitty gritty there, but here's your Acura Watch 360 Plus. It's a mouthful for Super Cruise that you see in General Motors products. Here's your regen brake button. I'll talk more about that when we start driving. Raise and lower the vehicle with the suspension, auto brake hold, and then this is the only way you can toggle through the sport modes. You can't use the touchscreen here to toggle. See, you actually have to press the button to do it, all right? Snow mode actually raises the car 25 millimeters. Right now we're still in the lowest setting here. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, I'll talk more about that here in a second. This 11-inch screen is fantastic. Volume knob right here. Really easy to interact with all this. Physical knobs for climate control. So many automakers, when it comes to EVs, they bake everything in the touchscreen, and it's not very functional. There's no learning curve getting into this car. This is the first Acura with Google built in, which is going to precondition your battery. For example, as you if you put in the destination here for a charging station, it'll precondition the battery so you will be spending less time at the charger as your battery is ready to start charging at a fast rate. But you also have the option of Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Very, very simple. AC works great in here. Heated and ventilated seats. I have a heated steering wheel. Type S badge here on the steering wheel. The stitching on here, honestly not impressed with. It's definitely much better on the top portion. We have these aluminum pedals down here at the bottom. Nice little flare. This bridge has been super handy for putting stuff on. You can see you could easily put 2 phones up here. USB-Cs, 12 volts, massive cups. Here is a sleeve wireless charger, the first we've ever seen on an Acura. And then in here, I don't know if this is pre-production, but there's literally no felts in here. If you put something in here, it's going to be loud and rattly. That hopefully they put something in there for the production. I don't know 100% for sure, but I would be putting some carpet in there myself if this was my vehicle. That is, yeah, I couldn't live with it. These Orchid seats with the Type S embossed in the headrest. You can adjust the bolstering. You can adjust the thigh extension. Let's see if I can do that real quick. I was trying to do thigh extension earlier, and this could just be, oh, there we go. You got to twist it. You twist the little dial on the side of the seat, and you can do cushion length. So just, that's max. Max. I love thigh extension on these vehicles. Back bolstering you can adjust as well, and the lumbar you can adjust. So pretty neat. It doesn't have the massaging seats of the MDX Type S. I hate to burst your bubble there. Into the A-pillars, we have the the Bang & Olufsen sound system, which, like I said, it sounds pretty good overall. Again, I'm not an audiophile, and I haven't been listening to it a whole much. We have the aluminum plated speaker grills here on the door panel as well for that Bang & Olufsen. But I think I've covered everything I wanted to. Without diving, I could spend like 30 minutes just going through the quick menu here. If you want to pull up your camera, yes, it has 360 camera. Oh, this is something that's a bit different. It doesn't have a stock here for lights. It's through this button. So this is more of a General Motors thing that it doesn't bother me that much. It might irk some of you guys, but you can just put on auto and it'll take care of your lights for you. Here is your one pedal driving, and I prefer to have it off, but I drive with it here in a little bit with it on. All right, it does have Sirius XM right here, and I'm gonna turn this down. It would have been nice to have a tuning knob. Look at this extra space right in here. It would have been great to have a tuning knob right below it, but I mean, most people, once they have their presets set, they're not messing with it a whole lot anyways. It looks like you can do split screen here, and it does pull up your Android Auto, but here's, one of my tricks is I'll have my Android Auto up here. I'll have let's say my music playing on the center screen. I'll have the maps up on my MID, and then of course I have the head-up display to assist me as well. So tons of customization, lots of technology. Oh, I didn't really even show you the panel roof on the inside, but it brings a lot of extra light into this cabin as well. So let's go ahead and start driving the new ZDX. Acura Watch 360 Plus, aka Super Cruise. I mean, it's doing a pretty good job here. I'm not using my hands. I'm going 63 miles an hour. It did try to do a auto lane change earlier. I did not feel comfortable about that because there's a car coming up on my left and it wanted to pass on the left. So luckily, I mean, I still have my faculties here, so I put the gas pedal down and just flew around and did it the old manual way. So just keep an eye out for that. But like, this is crazy. Guys, I'm just talking, hands off the steering wheel. I've tested Cadillacs with Super Cruise before, but I haven't actually tested the Super Cruise on them, and this is the same exact thing. Now, if this goes to yellow, I need to put my hands on here, to my understanding. If it goes to red, absolutely put your hands on the steering wheel. But look, this is not bad. Now, you can only get this Acura Watch 360 Plus on the Type S, right? You're gonna have to fork out, that extra 8K, whatever it is, over the base A-Spec. The A-Spec will still have radar cruise control. I'll have lane centering, but you won't have this. I mean, this is kind of like, okay, see, you guys saw that? It started wobbling back and forth and went blue on me. It doesn't go yellow, it goes blue. So just keep your mind out. Like, I feel that's the second time that's happened. Mid-turn, if there's some bumpies in the mid-turn and I get an incoming call, I absolutely do not trust it in mid-turns with the bumpies, because the steering wheel starts freaking out. It's like, hey, take over, because obviously the car doesn't know what to do in that situation. Okay, so other than that, what's it like here? Okay, well, let's go 65 here. Just 2 presses up on this little, I don't know, switch here. Is it quiet in here? It's very quiet. So it's a win there. It's luxury quiet. What's the ride quality like with these 22s out on the highway? Well, like I mentioned, it's quiet. I don't have a lot of tire noise, surprisingly, even though these are the biggest wheels ever on an Acura. Ride quality is pretty good. Now, in town, I noticed the imperfect roads in town here in California. I don't know exactly where I'm at. Somewhere, you guys know, somewhere around here. I'm a Florida boy at this point, so I don't. La Cumbre, I'm somewhere around Santa Barbara, right? The bumps in town, anyways, you could definitely feel them. It definitely felt firm in town. But I feel like that's a Type S thing. Even though this does have air suspension, I drove the TLX Type S. That thing has a very firm ride in town. Okay, even though that has adaptive dampers, this has adaptive dampers even on the non-S Type S. This has air suspension plus adaptive dampers here. And I think I need to get off here. And that's the amazing thing. I think I just press this button, it turns off the Acura watch, and it was delayed. So I have one pedal driving on. I would say it's pretty good overall. If you like one pedal driving, for me, I do not like one pedal driving. So it's fine. I'd say it feels almost as natural as, let's say, Hyundai's one pedal driving. I think Polestar and Volvo probably still have the best one pedal driving, but this is still good here. And it brought itself to a complete stop. Now, I'm gonna take it off, and you have this. Oh, I need to go. I'm gonna set the level. I'm just gonna go to off so it'll drive like a normal car. And immediately the pedal's more responsive here because you're not going through an initial braking level with the accelerator pedal. So even though I have, you know, one pedal off, it is still doing some regen right now. Okay, even, like some automobiles, hybrids, plug-in hybrids, or EVs, once you get off the gas pedal, they will, this is actually a great place to do a 0 to 60. So we're going to pull off here. That Taycan just pulled off. Maybe they're rattling off 0 to 60s as well. Pavement isn't perfect, so keep that in mind. So let's go and get the my accelerometer race box here. Oh my gosh, my battery's dead on it. That's not good. So I won't be able to do a 0 to 60 for you guys. I didn't bring my charger. I'm gonna put it into sport mode, which will lower it 15 centimeters, or sorry, 15 millimeters. We're in sport mode here. And let's go ahead and get the wheels facing in the right direction so I don't go in the guardrail. And hammer. Okay. And 60. Okay. It's not going to be as accurate. It felt good. I would say 0 to 60 here in this 500 horsepower Type S. The butt feel is maybe around 5 seconds. So it's definitely faster than the MDX Type S, which is around 6 seconds. And they cost about the same. So I've already mentioned this is kind of, in how I view this vehicle, it's kind of like an EV MDX with 2 rows. All right, what is response like? I'm going 50 right now. Let's say I need to pass the one pedal down. Yes, that's what you want in an EV. That's what you come to expect. That instant torque, there's no waiting around, the pedal's down and you go. Compared to any other gasoline car in the world, unless you're in the perfect gear already, it's not gonna take off like an EV does. Just pedal down and it's going. Now there's a synthetic noise going on here. I don't think it sounds bad. I don't know if it's disableable. I'd have to spend more time with this vehicle. I was in a BMW recently, the i7, and that had an obnoxious synthetic noise. So this one's not obnoxious, and the only time you hear it is when you really bury your foot into that pedal. But I don't need to be in sport mode, to be honest. I'm just gonna put it, and you have an individual mode here, but I'm just gonna put it into normal. I'm happy with that. I got a weird sensation when I came to a stop that the suspension was still adjusting, maybe raising a little bit as the car was coming to a stop with the air suspension, because normal mode is 15 millimeters higher than the sport mode, and snow mode is 25 millimeters higher than normal mode. So I guess is that a 40 millimeter delta total between snow mode and sport mode. Now this head-up display, it's insanely clear. It's huge font. Literally, as I'm looking at the lane of the road, it almost takes up the entire width of the road. So well done, Acura and GM here with the head-up display. Super crisp. I'm not getting any double vision. I do get a little bubble effect. It looks like it kind of wraps around. It's hard to explain, but it kind of looks like it's bubbling towards me in the center, and it kind of bends a little bit as it gets closer to the edge of the head-up display. But it's not disorienting, so it doesn't. It's fine. I'm already used to it. Now steering here, it doesn't feel very connected to the wheels, and that's okay. I'm just in normal mode here. Via the wheelbase, just like turning it like this, definitely you can tell the wheelbase is enormous here. Essentially, it's the same wheelbase as actually like the Honda Odyssey. So you're steering this big old boat, and it's about the same length as the MDX. The wheelbase is just 8 inches longer than MDX. So like, it doesn't feel like you're driving an MDX. It actually feels like a bigger vehicle. Not height-wise, you definitely sit lower in this. It definitely feels like this thing is long, like you're driving a long station wagon or something. It feels low to the ground, almost like a sedan. And you notice that when you get in and out of the vehicle as well. You sit, it's lower, let's say it's higher than a TLX, but it feels lower than an MDX in terms of seat height. So I think it's I mean, I'm 6'1", it's still super easy for me to get in and out of this vehicle. But I'm gonna put it into sport mode here. We got some twisties. Of course, we're gonna be held up by traffic a little bit. And I'm holding up traffic myself. So as I just roll into the accelerator, just effortless, smooth propulsion, of course. We got a kind of a sweeping long turn here. I mean, this thing weighs 6,000 pounds. It feels like a big vehicle, like I said, with the wheelbase, but also the weight of it. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's the most nimble, but I mean, it's got 275 with tires all the way around. So you got plenty of contact with the road. And I'm just kind of used to this feeling from driving other EVs. Insanely smooth, almost eerily smooth if you're not used to it. Your inputs are magnified with the pedal, and especially if you're into the mid or high regen braking pedal, so the one pedal driving mode, which I personally prefer not to use most of the time unless I'm in stop and go traffic. And this is something like in an EV, you always have instant torque and you never really have to bury your foot going uphill. You don't have to downshift, or the transmission doesn't need to downshift to the right gear to keep your speed up. It's just like the hill doesn't exist, especially when you have 544 pound-feet of torque. My gosh, that view was stunning. I don't want to fly off the mountain though. Very, very quiet. And I do like the little bit of regen that they give for you here. That is standard. Like I said, you can't defeat regen when you get off the pedal. It does not coast immediately, does a little bit of regen. I like that. It reminds me a little bit of the Prius that I have at home. Just always a little bit of regen built in, and it helps you from always needing that brake pedal. Here you can do a little bit of braking, and it doesn't give you that nauseating effect if you're not used to one pedal driving. So it's very well done here. Feels very, very refined. The space in here feels enormous as I'm driving. The visibility, it's pretty good. Like this B-pillars right here, but I feel like the safety in this vehicle would help me out. But I guess that is kind of a blind spot there. But it is in most cars for me with really long legs. But overall, visibility's pretty solid here, even though this front windshield's pretty raked over. And this is an amazing thing too. Like Volvo EVs, for example, they force you into Apple CarPlay or the Google built-in. And this is Google built-in right here. It looks just the same as my Android Auto because they're still using Google Maps. But, and the great thing about this is that if I put in a destination here, it'll tell me like what my state of charge would be by the time I get somewhere. And it'll tell me charging station. So it's pretty handy, but honestly, I'm old school. I like my Android Auto. I like my phone having that option too. So many of the manufacturers will say, oh, you have Google built-in. No, we're not gonna give you the option of Android Auto, because Android Auto so like for example, the Google built-in is subscription. And after a few years, whatever it is per manufacturer, let's say it's 3 years, it'll run out. But like the Volvo, for example, it won't let you use your Android Auto. They make you renew the Google built-in, or you have to use Apple CarPlay, and I don't have an Apple phone. So I love that they give me both Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. If you look at like some of the competition from the GM models, I think the Blazer EV doesn't have either Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I mean, that's just a deal breaker for so many people out there, me included. So even though this is a GM product, Honda has decided to keep Android Auto, Apple CarPlay on top of the excellent Google built-in. And Google built-in, I'm an Android user, so I love it. But also having that fallback of Android Auto is just, I love it. They give you, they're listening to the customer. The customer wants to use their phone more times than not, at least in my generation. And so they make it really, really simple, easy, and they're not going to force you to pay to use Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. They give you that here if you want to use it, no charge. Wow. It's just so easy to pick up a speed going uphill. Wow. Look at that view. Oh my gosh. I don't remember if I'm in sport mode or not. Oh yeah, I'm still in sport mode. And that's a great thing. Like, it doesn't feel much stiffer in sport mode. The steering is definitely, I get less assist here. So what does that do for me? It makes the steering feel a little bit more like I have more control over it. I have to effort a little bit more, which makes it feel a little bit more accurate with the steering. But yeah, steering's great in here. Even though this thing weighs 6,000 pounds, that's crazy to me. I also have this regen button here on the steering wheel as this Rogue is braking in front of me. And that's pretty cool. I don't know if I've ever been in a car where you can brake with the button. Let's get around this guy. And that's why you get an EV with this much power. You can easily just shoot around people. And here I am pressing the button on the steering wheel, not the brake pedal, to slow me down to work on that regen. Yeah, I've driven this road before. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it's been pretty rainy here the last year or two in California, so it's all green. I wish it was sunny, so I could appreciate it a little bit more, but it is still beautiful. And here we are. Since this has a little bit of regen built in, I don't have to press the additional regen here. I don't have to be on the brake pedal to control my way down. It's kind of holding 55, 56 miles per hour here. And I'm still putting some juice back in the battery. It's pretty neat. I love regen braking on hybrids, plug-in hybrids, EVs, even fuel cells have regen braking. I love that feature here on the ZDX. Final thoughts here on the ZDX is driving it through here. Good handling. It hides its weight well. It needs I'm not saying it needs a lot of power, but you're going to enjoy, if you get the Type S, you will definitely enjoy and be able to utilize the full 500 horsepower here because it weighs so much. Having that extra horsepower is nice. Put it down to, and it's all-wheel drive, of course. The base model is rear-wheel drive. I would love to be able to test the base model, but it is not here. So it does feel like a nice luxury car. Does it feel Acura to me? I think so. It does enough. I think like the interior design here with the Orchid, it makes it feel Acura enough for me. These knobs don't, I mean, it does feel a little General Motors with the knobs, but the knobs at least feel good. So yes, it does feel like Acura when I'm driving it. It looks Acura from the outside. So to me, that even though it's built by General Motors, it doesn't bother me. How it drives well, it looks good, it has good performance as I pedal up this hill. It's just climbing, almost hit triple digits there. And it's just so effortless. It's smooth, it's quiet, it's luxurious, it's sporty, it looks the part. It qualifies for the EV tax credit. I mean, I don't have, like, honestly, I don't have any bad things to say about it. If I had it for a week, maybe I'd find some things that would annoy me driving it throughout the week, taking the kids to school, that sort of thing. But the tech in here is fantastic. Between the head-up display and the two digital displays here, the volume knob right off the steering wheel. So functionality, ergonomics, I have so many buttons here on the steering wheel. Now, the buttons could be maybe a little bit nicer. They're just kind of matte, but they're functional, and I would take that over fancy touch capacitive glossy black buttons. So I think this is just, hey, we're going to have the Acura ZDX EV. This is going to be our first EV. We'll have it for a few years, and then we'll start coming out with our own e-architecture stuff, whether that's in Canada or in Ohio. And those will be pretty fantastic too. And those will be fully Honda DNA, fully Acura DNA. But to me, honestly, it doesn't bother me that this might not have the full-blooded DNA of traditional Honda Acuras because it ticks all the boxes. So I'm gonna end it there. Thank you guys for watching. Acura, thanks for bringing me out to this beautiful countryside in Southern California. Absolutely stunning here. Thank you guys. Hit the like button if you made it this far with my ramblings. It's easy to talk in this car because it is quiet, comfortable, easy to drive, smooth, all that good stuff, and tons of tech, which makes me comfortable if it's done right. And yeah, anyways, thanks guys. Have a great day. Peace.